Of the Nets' big three, who has the most on the line?
Harden. Last time I checked, Kyrie Irving is a champion. Kevin Durant is a two-time champion. James Harden has never won a championship. And the only time he's played in the finals is when he was a reserve. I would remind everybody that we're not only talking about being absent of a chip, we're also talking about one of the greatest offensive players the game has ever seen. In the last 5 years, before last season, James Harden clearly came into camp out of shape. He wanted out of Houston. They told him they weren't going to move him, so he didn't work out. He didn't do it on purpose because he wanted to get out of Houston that bad, and it ultimately worked because he wanted to get to Brooklyn, and that is what ended up happening. I will remind you that when you look at Harden, in the last 5 years, the previous 5 seasons, 29, 29.1, and then he was a 3-time scoring champion, 30.4 points a game, 36.1 points a game, 34.3 points a game. And in the midst of all of that, won league MVP honors one of those years and was a runner-up at least once, possibly twice. The brother is a superstar offensive player, make no mistake about it. And we know what he was capable of doing, and we had championship expectations for him, at least to some degree, when he was the man in Houston. Now, not only are you in Brooklyn, and not only are you in Brooklyn with the likes of Kevin Durant, but you're also there with Kyrie Irving. So when fully loaded, healthy, and a full season under their belt, he is absolutely right. There is no one who can beat them. But if we discover that there is somebody, folks going to look at him.
That depends on how he plays.
That's what I mean.
James Harden, game for game last year, fat and out of shape and all. Showed up in Brooklyn, like I always say, looking a hot mess, fat and out of shape. Was the best player in the NBA game for game. Like, this dude is on another level. He's great. But in regular season, he has yet to be a crunch time, big time playoff performer. I'll give you that. That's not who has the most on the line. And it's not Kyrie Irving either. There's one man who so many people now, including you, are saying is better than LeBron James. It has not happened in LeBron James's career since he, became the best player in the world. What is it, 10 years now? No one until now, not no one, but the majority of people until this moment have never looked at another player. We're not talking regular season, this guy gets the MVP, that guy, best player in the world, and said, that guy is better than LeBron. It's to the point now where LeBron's using it as motivation publicly. They're doing it now for Kevin Durant. Our colleague, played 10, 11 years in the league, Ryan Hollins, Stephen A., is out there. He's the best offensive player of all time. And he's not the only one saying it. Lots of people are saying it. And by the way, before the Achilles, he was a great defender, and he still takes on tough defensive assignments. He's a great passer, the whole thing. Kevin Durant has elevated himself to the point where he will be in the GOAT conversation pretty soon if he keeps this up and they win championships. But if they don't, they're going to say, KD, what do you need? You joined a 73-win team that couldn't lose. By the way, they almost lost to the Rockets. But right, and you got Finals MVPs. When you formed your own super team, like, what do you need? Harden and Kyrie, and Blake looks good again, and Harris and everybody. It's not enough. You still lost? No. No one has more on the line than the guy that people like you, Stephen A., are saying now, where's the crown? That's the guy with the most on the line. It's KD.
Max, I think that's a great argument on your part. One of your better arguments, no doubt about it. The problem is we've seen what a colossal impact a star who doesn't show up can have on the rest of the team. And if that happens to be James Harden, which I don't believe will happen. I'm picking Brooklyn to win the chip, and I think James Harden's going to show up and he's going to play lights out.
So do I.
But if by any chance that doesn't happen, he's such a big-time name himself, Max, that nobody's going to turn and look at KD. They're going to look right at him. That's what I'm saying. See, if everybody plays within themselves and somehow you don't get it done, there's no excuse. Of course, you're right about KD. But if you're James Harden, you're such a prolific name, you don't get to hide. And if you don't show up and you don't perform, you're not going to be able to hide behind KD and live in obscurity. Everybody's going to pull you out to the forefront because we've seen KD and we've seen his heroics and we've seen how electrifying he can be, okay? And he's just a hooper. And so if he continues to do what he does, which we all suspect is exactly what he will do, and somehow, some way Harden doesn't show up, then we're going to look at Harden because Harden's a big-time name. Listen, he's not going to escape us, and we're not going to be focused on KD and how KD brought this team together and he didn't get it done. If KD's averaging 40 on 50% shooting or better and better than 40% from three-point range, and he's killing it, but he's looking at his weapons and they don't show.
Well, look, if guys, whoever, like if Kyrie doesn't show up and the other two are balling out and they lose, it'll be on Kyrie. Same thing with KD. Now, you could say more likely that Harden doesn't show up given his postseason track record. I'll agree with you there. But in terms of just who has the most on the line, look, whether it's fair or not, and if KD's watching, I'm sure he's going to be like, there they go, the stupid media narrative, right? But when you don't win it, the mistakes of your past are amplified, right? And what you've done great recedes a little bit, and vice versa. The fact of the matter is, what more could KD have done? He was missing his whole crew. Don't airball the three with the series on the line in overtime of Game 7, right, against the eventual champs, right? Try that. You don't do that, and you're still playing, and maybe guys get healthy, maybe you do win the title. But the fact of the matter is, not just the foot on the line for KD in Game 7, where he hit the shot, he airballed the final shot of the game, and they lost as a result. If he hits it, they win. Miss it, they lose. Didn't even hit the rim, right?
Well,
now,
you can't,
in the context of...
Just say he missed the shot. Don't focus on it like that.
Well,
like there was some choke job. He played every minute. Steve Nash didn't give him a second's rest.
Well, let me ask you something.
And here's he was dropping 40 plus.
Hold up. Here's where it's different for KD than Harden or anyone else. This is my point. When you are in the stratosphere that KD is, he didn't ask for this. His own greatness brought him there. But this is what we do. I will ask you, is there any universe that you can simulate 1 billion times where Michael Jordan airballs a three in Game 7 overtime, win or go home? Any scenario. He ain't never going to do it. Maybe he misses it. He ain't never going to airball it.
Yeah,
KD is that great. He's being compared to Jordan and LeBron and the greatest who ever did it.